protect the proper flow of time. You picked up the Tesseract, breaking reality. I want you to help us fix it.
Why me?
I need your unique Loki perspective.
Do I get a weapon?
Nah.
You really believe in this Loki variant?
Luckily, he believes in himself enough for the both of us.
Why?
It is adorable that you think you could possibly manipulate me. I'm 10 steps ahead of you.
You're not big on trust, are you?
You can trust me.
Loki, I've studied almost every moment of your entire life. You've literally stabbed people in the back like 50 times.
Why never do it again?
Aloha. This is Trinidad, the Island Man, your Island Man, coming to you live once again from beautiful Hawaii here on the island of Oahu, bringing to you, yes you, the best TV show reviews on the entire island of Oahu. And yes, this is Trinidad, the Island Man, your Island Man. And, well, you know, this week was opening week, Wednesday night. The new Marvel show on Disney Plus premiered, and that was Loki, starring Tom Hiddleston and also Owen Wilson, just to name a few people. Now, everyone knows who Loki is from the MCU, and basically this is him. At his most evil, I guess, right after the Avengers stop him from taking over New York with Thanos' army, the Chitauri. And, as we saw in Endgame, instead of being taken back to Asgard to stand trial and be imprisoned for Thor 2, he ends up escaping with the Tesseract. And it is up to the Time Variance Authority to track him down because he no longer exists in the timeline. Loki, as we know from Infinity War, dies. And thus this one that is still living and gets away becomes a time variant, which against the rules of time, the Time Variant Association hunts down these anomalies and basically destroys them. So without further ado, shock a thumbs up. It's good to see. I recommend it. Shock a thumbs down. It's junk. I don't recommend it. And for the new Disney Plus television show, MCU, Loki, it is, of course, a shock a thumbs up. Now, most big reviewers have already seen episodes 1 and 2. Those were forwarded to them. I was not so lucky, but I did go ahead and finally will sit down and watch episode 1 Friday night. And just want to give you my thoughts. I thought it was okay. Basically, what this turns out to be, at least in this first episode, is a counseling session / intervention for Loki. Owen Wilson, as a head of the Time Variant Authority, basically goes ahead and counsels Loki on the missteps of his life, going back and showing him what he's done. And we see several clips from everything from Avengers, from Thor, the original movie, Thor, the Dark World, even to Infinity War. We get to see all of Loki's life, and he gets to see it as well, and is forced to answer the question of, well, what did your life add up to? And yes, so anyways, as I was saying, this is basically a counseling session between Owen Wilson's and Loki as he looks back upon Loki's life and basically starts to have Loki realize that all his missteps of his life have all been for naught. His quest for power has been a misguided attempt at getting parental approval, recognition, etc. Basically everything that it took him all the way through Thor Ragnarok to realize, he finally realizes by looking back over the space of 20 minutes of the reruns, the clips of his life. And he has a catharsis, basically saying, you know what? I am the god of mischief. You know, my parents did love me. Even my brother loved me. And I should have been happy. And thus begins, well, or will begin in episode 2, this new iteration of Loki. Basically, from what we can gather from episode 1 of Loki, is that the Time Authority, the Time Variant Authority, is under attack by some unknown entity, which early reports indicate that he's some type of devil that seems to be attacking. We get a reference to madness, the multiverse, and this devil-like creature that seems to be attacking the agents of the Time Variant Authority. Now, what we can surmise from that, at least from what I was thinking originally, was that this was going to be the intro into Doctor Strange and the Multitude of Madness, or the Multiverse of Madness. Because this devil creature could easily have been one Nightmare, and the Nightmare organization or realm is referenced to by Owen Wilson in this episode 1 to Loki, basically saying that, hey, you know, I really don't like those Nightmare guys, and if we could take them out, we would. So either Nightmare or Mephisto is what I was thinking for this devil-like character. Now we see a cloaked figure in at the very end of episode 1 that kills these Time Authority agents that Owen Wilson is trying to find. And he believes that Loki is the key to helping him track them down. Who better than a god, the god of mischief, that might be able to track down and at least handle this entity that even the Time Variant authorities cannot seem to get a handle on. They're just one step ahead of him, one step ahead of the Time Variant Authority all along, and just is killing them left and right. So who better than Loki? Plus, he's expendable. So I think that's what we're going to see as far as this, 8-episode arc of Loki. Basically, he's going to become an agent of the Time Variant Authority and track down this entity, who, at least at the end of episode 1, we find out is not Nightmare, is not Mephisto, although they could be at play eventually. Maybe, you know, this entity's working for Mephisto or working for Nightmare. We shall see. But it seems to be a female version, an alternate reality version of Loki, is what Owen Wilson implies, basically. It's like, well, we know who this entity is, and it's you, and he points to Loki. And some leaks have happened that saying that it's a female version of Loki, and kind of you can tell from the stature of the cloaked figure that it could be a woman, and it probably is. Which I think there is precedence for in the comics a female version of Loki. So now how Loki will defeat this other Loki, we don't know. Of course, there will be much episodes, I'm sure, where they will parley with one another, maybe trying to bring one another over to the darker side, and maybe this female Loki will try to coerce this other Loki, Tom Hiddleston's character, into working for the dark side, Mephisto or Nightmare. So that's basically what it looks like and what this season will go through. Again, it's okay. It is a shock a thumbs up, but is it as groundbreaking as some people have said? I don't think so. Looking at this episode, I honestly believe it to be on level of, I would say, you know what it felt like to me? It felt like Umbrella Academy Season 2, where we have number 5 or number 6 working for that Time Authority agency. Basically, this is the same thing. Although number 6 or number 5, I can't remember what, I think it's number 6, he is able to get the upper hand on the Time Authority in his world. Loki, however, is not quite as powerful, but he doesn't know the ins and outs of the organization as number 6 had been, working for the establishment for years and years. So, once Loki gets there, gets the experience with the Time Variant Authority, he very well may end up being like number 6 and have the opportunity to take over the entire organization. And that could be where the season ends, with him, what better place than there to be than the head of the Time Variant Authority to house the God of Mischief, where he can mess around with all these people's lives who should not exist, basically, and kind of torture and have fun and poke fun through all of reality and through all of time itself. So that's what it felt like to me. Umbrella Academy Season 2, at least from episode 1. I know there's a precedence for the Time Variant Authority in Marvel Comics. I'm not familiar with them. Some other people online have stated that it felt like DC Legends of Tomorrow with their Time Authority organization and, the legends traveling through time. But I really think that if you looked at it, some other people have said Brazil, just that overall bureaucracy organization. And yes, all of that has a feel to it. But I think what houses and homes in on that feeling so much more and so much more relevant would be the Umbrella Season 2 of Umbrella Academy Season 2, where we see the full interworkings of their time organization and how number 6 can play and manipulate the timelines through them to get what he wants. And basically, I see Loki ending up doing the same thing, even though he's been tasked at the end of episode 1 with hunting down this female Loki and stopping her from killing any more of the time agents. All right, so those are my overall thoughts. We'll have to see if I'm right or wrong, but I think that's how it's going to go. I don't think I'll do a breakdown. Maybe at the end of the rest of the season, I'll go ahead and give a rundown. I may just skip the rest of this season week to week and try to binge it all at once. That seems to be the best way to do it, especially if it's going to leave you on this cliffhanger every week. I would much rather just roll into it like Netflix and get it all done and be satisfied with it, just like that. All right, thank you so much. So again, shock a thumbs up for Loki overall. Not as spectacular as I think or amazing as Falcon Winter Soldier was. So far, to me, that's the best one, even though this seems to have been the most watched announced by Disney Plus throughout America and throughout the world. But we'll see if it maintains. Tom Hiddleston is a big star and a favorite of the MCU, so this should definitely be a highly rated show each and every week. All right, thank you so much. This is Trinidad, the Island Man, your Island Man, giving, again, Loki, the new show on Disney Plus, a shock a thumbs up. All right, thank you so much, and aloha.